We've got some more details regarding the train turned failed torpedo. Don't miss out.
We've got to cut through the noise.
That's right, we've got to cut through the noise. There's just so much noise. Yeah, it's getting hard to cut through the noise because there's too much noise out there. But that's what we like to do here at this channel. We cut through the noise, we cut through the news, all of the lies, all of the bull crap that is getting pushed out through mainstream media, and just you have to believe this because we know better than you. Trust us, we know what we're talking about. No, we're taking back the news. We're taking back journalism. We're taking back the truth here on The Noise with Nick. We're going to talk about the train you may have heard about last week regarding the naval hospital ship that was sent to Los Angeles to assist in providing more hospital beds so that coronavirus victims could have more beds in the hospital, and people who don't have coronavirus would be hospitalized in the ship. That arrived in Los Angeles, and some crazy guy decided he was going to run a train into it. We'll get into that in a second. But first, do yourself a favor. Subscribe. Hit the noties. Hit that little bell. Get on the noti squad. Because I said so. No, I really don't. I don't have a great argument here. I don't. Just if you enjoy the content, and if you want to see my face again, subscribe. Otherwise, YouTube is gonna bury my face under 1,000,001 tutorials on. I don't know. What do you watch? Wood turning? Are you one of those people? I don't judge. I love those videos too. But anyways, if you don't remember, first and foremost, Rachel Maddow, that weird looking talking thumb on MSNBC, she got caught in a bald-faced lie. She said that Donald Trump couldn't possibly get these hospital ships, the USNS Comfort and the USNS Mercy were both sent out. The Comfort went to New York City and the Mercy went to Los Angeles. And she said it couldn't possibly happen in the time frame that the president said so.
In terms of the happy talk we've had on this front from the federal government, there is no sign that the Navy hospital ships that the president made such a big deal of, the Comfort and the Mercy, there's no sign that they'll be anywhere on site helping out anywhere in the country for weeks yet. The president said when he announced that those ships would be put into action against the COVID-19 epidemic, he said one of those ships would be operational in New York Harbor by next week. That's nonsense. It will not be there next week.
Could you have a little bit more confidence? She doesn't even believe her own words that are coming out of her own mouth. That's nonsense. It won't be there next week. Can somebody please explain to Rachel Maddow what commander-in-chief actually means? Because she seems to have this diluted version of it, and personally, I don't blame her. She got used to covering Barack Obama, who bent over backwards and apologized on behalf of the United States to everybody and their sister for 8 years. She got used to covering that. So she probably didn't understand that when Donald Trump says these two military vessels are going to be here and here next week, she doesn't understand that before the president makes that statement, there's been people working hundreds of hours already making sure that's going to happen. Yeah, that's called commander-in-chief, Rachel. As a matter of fact, get off my show, Rachel. I don't even have time for you anymore. We're here to talk about the failed terrorism attempt in Los Angeles regarding the United States naval ship Mercy. Eduardo Moreno was he was operating a train in the Los Angeles port, which is the largest port I think in the world. It's one of the large. It's huge. I've been there, and that's where the hospital ship, the Navy hospital ship, is docked, and they're hosting patients, people who do not have coronavirus. And this train operator, Eduardo Moreno, he decides that he's going to use the train and expose the conspiracy of, I'm confused of what, he never actually says what's going on or what he thinks going on in the train, but he's going to expose it anyway. And he decides he's going to put his train at full speed. He drives it off the tracks, and he doesn't even make it within 250 yards of the train. But he tried. But needless to say, there was a huge wreckage. We'll get to images of that later. But on my live stream last Saturday night, I made the claim that he was not being charged with terrorism. He was just being... Most of the news articles said he was being charged with quote-unquote train wrecking. And, me being not a lawyer, I didn't understand that actually meant he was being charged with terrorism. Rachel Maddow, watch this. This is what an apology looks like. I spoke out of turn. I did not know what I was talking about. Therefore, I just ran my mouth like I did. And for that, I'm sorry. I was wrong. And it won't happen again. Yeah, right. She will never say that. She won't even come out with a simple, hey, I was wrong. She won't even come out with a democratic non-apology. She was so wrong. She said the ship wouldn't be there. Gets me mad. It gets me mad. But I was wrong. I was wrong too. Okay, to be fair. But I acknowledge it. And I said, I'm sorry. Anyways, 18 United States Code, Section 1992A, Article 1 is what he was charged with, to be specific. Terrorist attacks and other violence against railroad carriers and mass transportation systems, commonly known as, there it is, train wrecking. Now, there is a more detailed account of what actually happened, what actually went down. If you want to read the full affidavit, you can find it on heavy.com. Just go to heavy.com, type in Eduardo Moreno. You'll find the affidavit if you want to read through all the detail for yourself. What actually ended up happening is this guy has terrible luck. He's driving the train at full speed, and there just happens to be a California highway patrolman on a motorcycle who's watching this entire thing go down. Talk about dumb luck, huh? And the patrolman notices that the train is going very fast at a very high speed, and it's approaching the end of the tracks. It jumps off the tracks, slides through parking lots, slides through multiple fences, the whole shebang. The officer immediately does a U-turn, right? And he's going towards where the train is. And once he gets there, I think he was still a distance away. He saw an individual once the train ended, or once the train crashed. He saw someone get out of the engineer's station, which is like the driver's seat pretty much of the train, wearing a yellow life vest, a neon life vest. And he does a U-turn. He goes back to where the train is, and he sees an individual walking with the same yellow vest on, and he draws his weapon on him. And he says, he gets down to the ground, and he's identifying him with his driver's license, right? Eduardo Moreno. He finds his name, and Eduardo apparently starts talking his head off. Like, this guy is not a mastermind, that's for sure. He didn't think this through, apparently, because he just starts saying things like, I had to do it. You only get one chance like this, so you got to take it, and stuff like that. And after that, the Los Angeles Port Police show up, and they read him his Miranda rights. And, excuse me, they read him his Miranda rights, and he waives them. Right? He denies he doesn't keep quiet. He keeps talking. Okay? And then Sergeant Clements, which is probably superior officer, and a detective come, and they arrive, and they reread him his Miranda rights. He acknowledged that he knew his rights, and he waived them again. A third time. Now he's being interviewed by FBI agents, and he's read his Miranda rights a third time. They got to be thorough, and Moreno waived them once more. Now, as I said, you can go read the full account, find the affidavit, read it all. I think this guy was, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. He has this conspiracy that there was something going on inside of this hospital ship. He quotes at one point, they turn off all the lights. They turn off the lights at night, and they lock it. Yeah. As majority of hospitals do. Did you know that, Edward? There's such thing as visitation hours, and majority of hospitals, they turn the lights down a little bit so that the patients can sleep. Sleep is the best medicine. And they also lock it so that, lunatics like you don't run trains into them. But anyways, he never really goes into detail of what he thinks is happening. It's some sort of military takeover. And I said on my Saturday Night live stream, this is obviously a guy who has watched too much Hollywood movies and doesn't really understand what the United States military looks like. You saw the ship. It doesn't even look like a warship, dude. It's literally a floating hospital. Anyways, the FBI agent who's writing the affidavit notes that there's a camera inside of the engineer station where Eduardo was operating the train. And he notes that Sergeant Clemens from the LAPP's reports notes that Moreno, he lit a flare inside of the operating station, which GP here, the initials GP, that's a supervisor of the railroad, says that no employee would ever be allowed to light a flare inside the train. And this employee believed that Eduardo was planning to use the flare to ignite the fuel. So picture this. Picture this, right? Eduardo makes the decision. He's gonna, and apparently on his own account, he was just sitting there and he realized, I'm gonna run this train into this ship. It just happened like that, apparently. And he makes this decision. He's making his way towards the train. He lights a flare, and he sticks his middle finger up in the camera in the operator station. It's on video, and he sticks the flare out of the window. What is he planning on doing? Ask me what he's planning on doing. It sounds like a suicide mission to me. I mean, honestly, something is off with this guy, because you run a huge train and you're planning on hitting a United States military vessel, a floating hospital. There's going to be fuel, there's going to be explosion, and he's got a flare out of the window. What are you doing, dude? I don't know. He's planning on a big bang or something. But here's some video
So somebody stole
of
that
the
train
crash.
and ran it off the tracks.
The guy said somebody stole the train. He didn't know. Obviously, it just happened. People are still showing up.
Wow. So somebody stole that train over there.
There it is.
And ran it from that track all the way in.
So obviously the individual who filmed the video, they didn't realize that the train wasn't stolen. It was just a crazy lunatic employee who decided he's going to try and run into the floating hospital that's saving lives. The family, but that's incredible how far it went. I mean, trains are heavy. I'm not surprised, but still, it's just like, my goodness, man. That's a little crazy. But family and friends of Eduardo Moreno have begun to speak out. This is one of his friends from early childhood, says it just doesn't make sense. And I'd also like to point out that his friend's name is TJ Slick. If that's not the best name that you have ever heard in your life, he sounds, you know what he sounds like. He should be selling something that rhymes with kapow on late night television. You know what I'm saying? This is TJ Slick here with kapow. That's just a fantastic name. It doesn't even sound real. He says none of it makes sense, with tears in his eyes. Wow, I feel like an nincompoop. Schlick described his life, a longtime friend, 44-year-old Eduardo Eddie Moreno. He's a father, a loving husband, good friend. The guy would give you the shirt off his back. Okay. And here's his wife. She posted on Facebook. She made a GoFundMe. I think it's been taken down since then, but she said we need all the help we can get. If you can find it in your heart to give, any amount is appreciated. Another a sibling of Eduardo said, my brother and his family are in need of help. If you know my brother, you'd know what a good-hearted person he is, and has fallen into some difficult times. It's the typical expected response you would want from family members. And this is really important to understand here. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes people commit crimes who are not criminal masterminds with empires and evil layers. Sometimes normal, average people they snap, or they find themselves in the wrong situation, and they can be on the evening news or on national TV with their face all over saying drove a train into trying to drive a train into the floating hospital. It's a moment of shock for the family. And they're trying to rationalize, like, this doesn't make sense. I never knew him to talk about conspiracies. I never knew him to be someone of violence. But it's a sad situation for the family. And Eduardo is supposed to be indicted tomorrow on the 7th. And more than likely, he will be going to prison for a pretty substantial amount of time. If you enjoyed the show today, please let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Congratulations, you've reached the end of the video. And now you have an option here or there. It's up to you. You go ahead and choose.